So let's go ahead and get started. Kind of interesting, I know that you and we joke around and all that other stuff, but there are real things happening to real people. It makes you think about, your purpose, your legacy. What is it that you wish to leave behind? And I don't know about you, Hamer, and we'll talk about this. Do you do any hypnotic dreaming? Do you like lay down and tell your brain, I want to process something and just let it go?
I not as much as I used to. I'm doing it. I have been doing it more and more recently. I've been practicing the silver method,
Hmm.
or at least as much as I know of the silver method.
Hmm.
So actually drawing the image of a screen about 4 feet away from me and projecting my image of what I want to happen, but I haven't done it. I haven't asked questions. That
Hmm.
maybe I should write the questions, start to write the questions down on that screen before I drift off to to sleep and have a
Perhaps.
notebook.
Well, I was doing that the other day, and yeah, well, this video is going to go all over the place. But I've had my astrology done, and I had Vedic astrology, and I know a lot of people that do a lot of interesting things. So I laid down the other day and woke up with this idea. And you're familiar with past life regression.
Yeah.
And I have an instructor who runs a whole Facebook group that you guys should probably join on regression in past lives. And I had this thought. And I am writing an article about it, so it'll be done in a couple of days. But I am doing a article on next life progression because I thought about this in terms of people are really, really interested if they were, a king or a queen or a doormat or whatever it is in their past life. But really, how much time do we spend pre-programming where we want to be next? And so I talk to my chat bot frequently. So I just pose this question about how to consider a next life progression and came up with a few ideas. And I just kind of wanted to talk to you about this because some of the things that popped up into my head is we have our own beliefs and values and core values and whatnot. It's kind of like a fish, it doesn't really know that it's swimming in water. So in order to consider this, how do you put yourself into a space where you set yourself aside, very similar to a deep trance identification, and really think about, what do you want to do or be or have or whatever in your next life? Do you want to be male or female? Do you want to be a trout or a tree, in the Himalayas? And it was just a progressive thought experiment. And I just thought I'd, throw it out there and, see if we can get a conversation going. What do you think, Hamer?
Well, I'm not so sure about the next life, past a bit beyond the realm where we exist at the moment. But even working within the constraints of this earthly existence that we're working under, what I do know is that most of us spend most of our time ruminating on the past. We think about all the things that we did to get us to where we are now, and all the things that are stopping us from being what we want. And you framed it beautifully earlier when you put in your post about where your attention goes, so your energy flows. And if we are if we are manifesting for a future life progression in there, we need to step outside of that past and recognize the fact that it's over, it's gone, it doesn't matter anymore. Who cares what you were 500 years ago? It's what you are now and what you do with your time in this present moment, which is all that we can actually experience. I'm not even sure that the past, present, and future exist. All we really have is now. But what we do now, I suppose, is Dharma, isn't it? That's what the Buddhists would call Dharma. And ultimately, that is what we sow for the future that we're going to manifest, which they call karma, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. I think so. And there's, like I said, I'm writing an article. So some of the considerations that I'm doing, and I really want people to get involved in this conversation. So part of my belief system is that the past, the present, and the future are all happening simultaneously. And what would it be like if you could, I have my magic pen, so I'm waiting. What if we could turn all of our DNA on? They say that we have, 12 or 14 strands of DNA that are just not hooked up. What if we could hook those up? What if we could imagine or step into a process where we could move through past, present, and future simultaneously and do it intentionally? And I know this is sounds like a weed conversation without the weed, but I just thought we'd have a conversation about why not? Why not start
Absolutely.
creating a future that's worth living?
Definitely, because we are creating every thought that we play in our mind. When we play that movie in our mind, okay, some people may struggle to visualize. So when we have those feelings, when we hear that voice that's driving our future, and we keep ruminating on that on those same thoughts over and over again, we're actually manifesting. We are actually manifesting with our heart, and it's creating our future in there. So if 90% of what we're thinking about is garbage, that really is just of no real use to our lives, other than keeping us anchored in the past, the past, instead of and anchored to our external environment instead of creating our own environment, then we become a prisoner of our own mind and our own destiny. And what you said there, what if we could step outside of that, and we could switch all of those extra parts of the double helix on, and become like fully full range, have a complete full range of sensory experience. It almost seems like some of parts of these genes have actually been switched off to keep us from actually accessing those levels of consciousness. So yeah, it would be great if we could do that. I'm with you.
So let's give the listeners an opportunity to do this. So think about this for a second. You're going to lay down and you're going to take a nap. You're going to go to bed for the night, and write down what you want to experience, or write down what it is that you want your unconscious mind to explore while you're sleeping. And you could ask some questions, or you can leave it open in some form like that. But when you first wake up, before you do anything else, write down as much as you can remember, and you can make this a progression. I have been doing this for years. When I'm sleeping, I'm out like a light, but there's a part of me that is really busy doing, all kinds of stuff. So put your subconscious mind or your unconscious mind, not necessarily to work, but how about give it an opportunity to run and scream and play, and just post in the comments in this video of what you discover. I'd really be interested in what people have to say about this topic.